Okay, short recording. It's a very special edition, the Masters edition. Uh, the Masters it takes place in Augusta, Georgia, which is right on the border of South Carolina, where I live. And when I lived in Columbia, South Carolina, specifically Blythewood, my parents came to visit me, and I thought I'd surprise them. This is somewhere around 2008, maybe 18 years ago, 2009, when I was eating gold for breakfast. I was working for a large pharmaceutical company, not working for a nonprofit trying to sell hats and scrape by. I was making big bucks with big bonuses. And I was right in the middle of corporate America and had a wife, two kids, big house. Everything was honky dory. My parents come to visit, and I thought I'm going to surprise them. I'm going to take them down to Augusta. It was only about an hour and a half away. And we were going to scalp tickets to go see the Masters. Now, you're not allowed to scalp tickets at the Masters, just in case they're watching. But when you go down the main drag, there are people up there that say, "We have tickets." I don't know. I don't condone it, but I used it. So you get down there, you go to a couple places, and what they have at the Masters are these badges. That is the ticket. And they're in families and they're entrusted with these folks. If you lose the badge, you lose the badge, you're done. It's treat it like gold because it is. And they've been in families for years. So you go to scalp them and you talk to the scalper or the badge holder, and they read you the riot act. You got to give them your license. You got to return, like when you're done with the Masters, you got to go back to the same spot where they were, and you got to give them the badge back, and then you get your license, and they have your credit card. It's like you do not want to screw this up and lose the badge. They will rain terror on you. It's not good. Um, so we get there. My mom and dad, somewhat older at this time. Uh, Little known fact, they were older than me. No, I don't know how old they're, like maybe 70-ish, 75. And we're bopping through the Masters area, looking for scalping tickets, and the prices are high. And I didn't anticipate that. This is the morning. We're in Augusta. We're working the circuit, stopping, pulling over, asking people how much. And my mom, classic, she's born in 1936, Depression era, they go, "Oh, it's too high, Dennis." Dennis has that New York accent. "Dennis, you can't pay that much money. Dennis, no, this is ridiculous. Let's just go home." So she's in my ear. My dad's just chilling because that's what dads do. And we strike out in the morning and we decide, what's kind of like 11:30. Let's get lunch and let's regroup. And we're basically going to have lunch and go home because the prices are too high. Even for me, it's a little expensive. Three of us, what are they? $300, $400, $1,200. It's a lot. It's way too much money. So we're on our way. We see an IHOP, and you can never go wrong with IHOP. International House of Pancakes, you can never go wrong. So everybody agrees, perfect. Where else can you eat your daily caloric intake in one meal? IHOP. Well, actually, there's a lot of places you could do that. I'm not picking on IHOP, but that's one of my favorites. So we go in there, and my mom and dad head in. I said, "Get a table." My phone's ringing. I'm going to take it. Out of the blue, now, the IHOP is on one side of the road. You literally can see the Masters on the other side of the road. The ivy, there's a fence. On the other side of that fence, people are having the time of their life watching the world's greatest golf tournament. Right over that fence. We're right there. And so they go in, and my phone rings. It's a dear friend from New York. Remember, I'm in Georgia, and a friend of mine from New York is calling. We talk all the time. Just happened to be the day he called me. And he goes, "Hey, what's up?" His name is Robert Bean, and he can vouch for me on this one. Totally vouch for me because he did it. He started the call, and I call him up. He's an old friend from grade school. We went to Catholic school together. And I said, "Hey, Rob." In fact, Rob Bean's name backwards is Borneeb. So I probably said, "Hey, Borneeb, what's up?" And he goes, "Hey, Gilbo, that's my nickname." He goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Rob, you're not going to believe this, but I'm probably 40 yards from the Masters right now, like right across the street is the Masters." He goes, "What are you doing there?" I said, "I'm down here with my mom and dad. We're trying to scalp tickets. It's too expensive." Now, a couple of years prior to this call, Robert Bean lost his father to a heart attack. It was awful, premature, and it was sudden. So Rob's on the phone, and I'm bitching and moaning about the price of Masters tickets, blah, blah, blah. And then he kills me with this line. just slays me right there in the parking lot IHOP. He goes, Gilbo, I couldn't tell you how much I would pay to go to the Masters with my father. Oh, I'm tearing up thinking about it. In the park, I'm sitting there. Now they're in there. They're having their coffee. They're having the coffee. My mom's having a New York coffee. And I'm like, oh, Rob, you just got me. All right. Love you, bro. Take care. I hang up the phone and I get this new determination. Unbeknownst to my parents, we're going to have lunch and then we're going to scalp a ticket. So they think we're leaving. We leave IHOP. We're driving out and I see a bank. Wells Fargo. That was who I banked with at the time. I pull in and my mom's like, what are you doing? I said, Mom, I'm getting more money. And I go to the ATM and I get more money. But luckily for us, as the day was getting away from us, as the day went on, the price of the Masters tickets were dropping, the scalpers. So we come around, we meet this guy. It's somewhat reasonable at this point. Your definition of reasonable may be different than mine, but crap, I got these two old folks with me. We're doing this. We give them the money. We give them a license. I give them one of my credit cards and we go in. We pull in the parking lot. My dad had intermittent claudication, which is a fancy way of saying he had a little blockage in his leg. We're literally in the parking lot. He starts cramping up. We're walking into the Masters and he starts cramping up. I'm like, oh, Dad, not now. Oh, not now. So I'm ready to put him on my back. We slowly get into the Masters. I set him up. We get some seats. I run around. I get him a pimento and cheese sandwich. If you don't know, you don't know, but it's a tradition down there made by the local schools. The prices in there are super cheap. You cannot bring your phone in, which is awesome. Everything about the Masters is wonderful. It's a shrine. If you ever can get in there, please do. Put it on your bucket list. Um, it's truly a wonderful venue and a wonderful tournament. Great time of year. The azaleas are bursting. Colors are out. I set my parents up. They're seated, which is good for my dad's leg. I get them all the food, and then I run around like a madman just checking it out. And I come back, and we leave. It's one of the greatest days ever. We come back to Columbia, South Carolina, and we're like, wow, what a day. What a day. So, funny part of this story is a couple weeks later, I see my mom. I visit them in North Carolina. And my mom tells me the story that she was with all her lady friends. Who knows what they were doing, playing mahjong or going to one of those Red Hat Society club meetings, whatever they do. And all the women in the group were talking about the Masters. And they said, did you see the azaleas? They were wonderful. And then my mom said, Dennis, I said, you should see them in person. And she was so proud of that. Like it was one of those moments. Like she had to throw it in the group that she was there, and it was perfect. She inserted it perfectly. She said, "You should see them in person." And then she said this little addendum to me. She goes, "Dennis, I didn't tell him how much we paid. I, she didn't pay anything. I paid it all, but it was so worth it." So if you look back, now both my parents are deceased. If you look back on memories you have with your parents, and that it's not about things, it's not about stuff, it's about experiences. And that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Thank you for the Masters, for putting on one of the best tournaments of the world. Thank you for IHOP for being right there. I don't even think that IHOP's there anymore, but I owe an IHOP a visit soon just to say thanks and leave a big tip because it's still one of the greatest stories ever. And then thank you for Wells Fargo for putting an ATM on the way out, perfectly placed, um, so I can get more money that I didn't need. And it was just one of those magical days. And everybody has a magical. I hope everybody has a magical day with their parents. That was mine.